Welcome to the Alien Portal Podcast, where we ask the questions to the most out of this world topic, explore the world of ufology and ancient historical evidence of aliens. Come along for the ride while we learn of the existence of and coexistence with beings out of this world. Thank you for joining us today. I am Cris, your host, and again, I am with B, my friend.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, hello, thank you for joining. Yes. Today we will be talking about the Westfall UFO incident of 1966 in the state of Victoria, Australia. Have you heard of
Mm,
that, B?
I have. I remember we talked about it earlier. That's when basically the local law enforcement came in and took all pictures and recordings of a said alien appearance.
Yes. Yes, we
So
did
there's
talk
no
about it.
evidence currently except for one piece, I think.
Mm-hmm. Correct. During a short recess at the Westall High School, students and teachers noticed a silver object about the size of a family van in the sky. Uh, it wasn't a small object. So that's family size van. That's kind of big. You will notice that. Yeah,
Right? No kidding. It'd be like, call, call. The aliens are coming to visit.
yeah. The object hovered over a field of tall grass. Witnesses, primarily the children, even claim it was three UFOs. They even
Mm.
claim that the UFO landed on the field of tall grass, leaving a perfect circle on the ground.
Ooh,
So,
is that where our crop circles come from?
well, with crop circles been happening much longer, but it's kind of interesting that you have a UFO landing and leaving a perfect imprint on the ground. So
Well,
they,
to me, it would kind of make sense if a UFO landed, that would be perfect.
yeah,
You know, it's made by a higher intelligence, so should be a little bit better than anything we can do.
in this case is interesting not because it's an alleged UFO sighting, but because there was an attempt to cover up the whole thing, like B said earlier. We had men in plain clothes with no identification visited witnesses to the event.
Is it the Men in Black?
Yeah, you never know. That's what I put in my notes. It's Men in Black.
Nice.
Yeah, because that's what I think of when you think of people plain clothes, just acting governmental. One teacher that took a photograph of a sighting was threatened. They
Ooh.
they asked her for the film negatives and asked her to keep quiet of the incident. If she did not stay quiet of the sighting, she could potentially lose her teaching position.
How the heck can they do that?
I don't know. People take threats also seriously,
Hmm.
especially when someone with a fake badge tells you that this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's
Um,
kind of messed up.
yeah, it is. Teachers were not the only ones investigated by this group of men. Students were told that what they saw was just weather balloons.
It made a perfect circle on the ground. Hmm. Weather balloons do that, yeah.
Witnesses that came forward from there on with any story of the sighting was shot down with a weather balloon cover up. So I guess you can say that weather balloons could be mistaken for a large silver craft.
And these are not the droids you're looking for.
I I don't think weather balloons are the are a good excuse,
Yeah, that's a
but
big stretch even for me. I'm like, come on now.
Yeah,
Got to come up with something better. At least get original. Be like, oh, it's giant golf frisbee or
yeah,
frisbee golf.
yeah. But that does not take into account the claim that the large craft that was flew away quickly, left the circles on the tall grass of the school, um, and well, the evidence of the crop circles was mowed down the next day, anyways. So it's almost like they removed all evidence
I
possible
was
for.
about to ask if there was a southern fervor to cut the grass all of a sudden and be like, oh no, it's too tall. We got to cut it.
Yeah, all of a sudden they decided to cut the grass, and there is no, like, there is a picture that shows um, a circle on the tall grass, but I don't believe that that's from the actual Westall incident. Uh, who are these men in black in plain clothes? Is MIB? Um,
Here comes the men in black. Come and see the defenders. Or in
part of
this case,
a,
government conspirators.
yeah, is it part of a covert intelligence group in the government in their attempt to cover up the truth, the silence, and silence the witnesses? There was one man they did not take into account, the outlier in this story. This man took a Polaroid off the craft, and it doesn't look like a weather balloon. It
What? You saying that, the facts don't add up with what the government said? Huh?
uh-huh. It doesn't look like a weather balloon at all. Uh,
Oh my goodness. Maybe they were using the definition very liberally.
maybe, maybe too liberally to start with.
Hmm.
Here in the U.S., we had the Roswell, New Mexico crash that was then claimed to be a weather balloon as well,
Hmm.
which I found that as a poor excuse too. What is it with this lame excuse? If you Google weather balloon and compare it to a Polaroid the men took, well, to find the Polaroid, by the way, just Google Westall Westall UFO Polaroid,
Okay.
and that should bring up the first image of the Polaroid.
Nice.
Yeah, and
I wonder if the guy like took the picture quickly and then stuffed it in his back pocket and was like, no, no, guys, I was not taking any pictures. The camera's only a weather balloon.
I just think that them asking for witnesses to come forward, there is a newspaper article that shows that they're looking for witnesses to come forward, that they and that they didn't that they took the list of the witnesses that came forward and decided to pay a visit first before anybody else could, so that way they can keep them quiet from.
No, that makes sense. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, if you want to be threatened by the government, please call this number now.
Yeah. Well, the Polaroid image of the sighting does not look like a weather balloon. That's the big point. And I believe that this sighting is real of a sighting that you can get. 50 years later now that the sighting since it occurred, the witnesses still tell the same story, and they they can even collaborate with each other's story that what they saw was real.
That's impressive, especially after 50 years. Usually things change. Is there an article written about this? that we can read more about?
Yes, there is an article. Actually, if you type Westall um, UFO incident, uh, you will find the old articles, images, and you would also find newer articles because there was a, a show on Netflix. They came out episode 4. I don't remember the name of the show, but I think it's called Top Secret UFO something. And the the fourth episode is about the Westfall uh, UFO incident, and they wrote an article about it too after that episode came out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, it was a good episode. I saw it myself. Well, that does it for us today. This episode of the Alien Portal podcast. Please leave a comment or question. I'm eager to hear what you think. Thank you for listening, and until next time, my friends. Thank you, B.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Bye.